What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, everybody. Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me say hi to everybody in the chat. Um, what's up? What's up, little baby? Hey, Cams. Hey, Vovo. Hey, Dovey. Diva One. Hey, Boo. Ellen. What's going on? Hey, y'all. Hey, Sherry D. Sharice. Khalesia. I hope I said that right. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Happy Saturday to you. So we are here. We are being joined by our attorney, our official legal counsel of the channel, Miss Simone. Y'all know, girl, is that legal? Hey, everybody coming in. Miss Rocky, Auntie Dee, Miss Old School, Letitia Black. Hey, you guys doing? So she's backstage. I'm gonna bring her up now. She is process of getting her makeup done. Okay. If you are in the Atlanta area and you need a mobile makeup artist, this is the person, and you like what you see as she's getting her hair done, this is how you can contact her makeup artist. I am Forever Doug on Instagram. So she's actually speaking at a conference today. So she's double dipping, y'all. She double dipping. What's up, Tracy, my producer and member in the house? Hey, girl. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring her up. You ready, Simone? You good? Okay.
Oh wait. Oh, hold on. Hey y'all. He's doing my liquid liner, so I'm gonna be very calm. But hi y'all. So yes, I'm so glad to give you this tea.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the introduction while you're getting your liquid liner together, honey. So as you guys know, earlier this week, we know that Larry Reid and Bishop Whitehead, and I'm only saying, yeah, I'm gonna use his title for the purposes of this conversation. We know that they are in the midst of this battle. We're in the midst of this battle, child. And Bishop Whitehead dropped, in his mind, I guess, a bombshell. He dropped a bunch of recordings that are accusing Larry Reid of all kinds of stuff. Now, Larry Reid went on his channel and he did a rebuttal. And what he said was, this is old news. I've talked about this on my channel. This was the part of a lawsuit that I had against another YouTuber. That lawsuit was settled. He never said it was thrown out, and he never said he, quote unquote, won, but he said it was settled. And in the settlement, he's not, the YouTuber is no longer allowed to say Larry Reid's name, and he was supposed to take down everything that was on his channel, all the videos and stuff about Larry Reid. They were supposed to be removed from his channel. Now, Larry Reid suspects that YouTuber sent these recordings to Bishop Whitehead, and that's how Bishop Whitehead got the recordings. And Bishop Whitehead, for the last couple of nights, has been playing these recordings on his Instagram. Okay, so you want to jump in anywhere?
Yes. Okay. Great. So here we go. So here's the thing. That is true. What we have for you guys is we have the settlement agreement. Okay. This is the settlement agreement between Larry Reid and his name is Darryl Moore. Okay. So Darryl Moore was basically the guy who published all of this stuff. Now, here's the interesting thing. So I looked through the docket. I looked at various documents in that litigation. And ultimately, so Larry Reid made his accusations of defamation and claiming that all this stuff wasn't true. And then the guy, Darryl, he made his own accusations saying that Larry Reid was defaming him, that Larry Reid had certain accusations. It went straight to mediation. And then in mediation, they immediately came to agreement. There was no motions, none of that. So as a result, we don't know if these allegations are true or not. So let's be really clear about that. Because it was never determined by a court that the allegations were false. Instead, yes, it was never, ever determined that these allegations were false, ever. And interestingly, in the settlement agreement, Larry Reid doesn't ask for a dime or get a dime. I thought that was very strange.
Oh, see, I was under the misunderstanding, I guess, that there was a settlement, a financial settlement. Okay.
I assumed that initially too, when I saw that it had been dismissed with prejudice, because generally when you see dismissal with prejudice, meaning they cannot re-sue you, they can't bring the same suit again, it's after a financial payment has been made, right? Because usually that's the last thing that needs to be done, Once that last thing is done, everything is dismissed. However, here, the settlement agreement just simply said, basically, you better keep my name out your mouth, and I'm going to keep your name out my mouth. Literally, that's all it says, but in legalese. Because all they're agreeing is to not discuss each other and to pull down all the videos where they reference each other. Now, interestingly, yeah, that's it. No money. And I feel like really what Larry Reid wanted to do with this lawsuit is stop the bleeding.
Right.
And which was smart, because here with defamation, the truth is a defense, right? They never got far enough in the suit for him to have to prove whether or not the allegations were true. And I found that really interesting. Drop a comment below if you would settle for $0 after somebody is dragging you like that. Now, it could be that Larry felt like, well, he don't have no dollars to get. It could be. But if it's a settlement agreement, meaning you went to mediation, you haven't gone to trial, none of that, then I might push some money, even if it's $5,000. Right. I need you to be
even if it's just
in
symbolic.
Some capacity, even if it's just symbolic. Okay. Now, also, notably, the lawyer for Darryl Moore said, this nigga's crazy, I'm out of here, basically. And he filed to withdraw. I understood
the lawyer tried to quit. Darryl Moore's lawyer, he tried to quit, right?
Yes, and the basis for him quitting is he basically said in lawyer terms, this nigga's crazy and we can't work together no more. So the best bet is that y'all let me out of here. Now I don't have to deal with this fool no more, because I, in good conscience, can't sit up in this courtroom and act like what he's telling me is the truth. I feel like that is a fact that leans towards Larry Reid being in the right.
Okay, so hold on. Let me unpack that. So let me unpack
let's break that down.
So Darryl Moore's attorney went into court and asked to be released, and basically in legalese, he said, dude crazy, I can't work with him, and he has not provided me anything to prove his case.
He didn't go that far. In a lawyer,
he didn't go that far.
Okay. But basically, when a lawyer withdraws, it's for one of two reasons. It's either financial, they haven't paid me, and that wasn't it. He did not say, I'm withdrawing due to failure to pay. The other reason is under the legal professional ethics. If you feel that your client is having you do something you feel is not within ethics, or that is not honest, or that you can't present, or that's not honest or not true, you have an obligation to withdraw. See, a lot of people think you're just supposed to stand up there and say whatever will make your client win. Absolutely not. So the wording that he used, and you guys can pull that up too, but the wording that he uses, the gist was like, we've come to a point when we can no longer work cooperatively on this case. We have a difference of opinion. And of course, they can't give you details, right? Because that's attorney-client privilege. So I think that's more of the settlement agreement. I actually didn't send you the withdrawal.
So this is a copy of the actual settlement agreement.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you got it. No, you're right. That's the actual settlement agreement. And so what I wanted to see in reading that is if in fact this guy gave Whitehead these documents and these videos, would that be in violation? And the answer is absolutely. And not only that, Larry Reid has took his ass back to court 2 times, both in February and in June of this year, saying that Darryl Moore has been violating the settlement agreement by continuing to put Larry Reid's name in his mouth. So one of the instances was that, although was the first time, it was, oh boy, never took down the videos of Larry. They're still up in February. Then in June, although he claimed to have taken the videos down, he republished a video that another blogger made talking mess about Larry. And the court said that too is a violation. The court was like, look, because Darryl Moore was like, well, I didn't say it. I just shared someone else's views as commentary. And they're like, we don't care. Can you read? If you could read, you would know that all the provisions basically literally are saying, keep my name out of your mouth in any capacity, including You can't just repost what somebody else said talking shit about me. Duh, stupid. So the judge was about sick of him. And,
so somebody in the chat. So somebody in the chat said that Darryl Moore mentioned Larry Reid yesterday. So does that violate?
Yep. Got to keep his name out your mouth.
Okay. So even if now somebody else in the chat, K.O. Kane, said, yes, that's the civil case, but that's not what he called Bishop Bodega. I'm sorry, but that's not what Bishop Bodega is referencing. He's talking about the criminal case.
So he's talking, correct. He's talking about both, but continue.
No, so were you, we didn't talk about that, so I don't know. Did you look to see if there was a criminal case?
Yes. No, I have not pulled any of the criminal case documents, but the wording that he's been using is that it's under investigation. And it appears that it is my understanding that, the stages are that it goes under investigation, and then the DA decides based on a preliminary investigation, the DA decides, is he going to pick up the charges? So that's where it's at right now, meaning it doesn't have a criminal court case number, is my understanding. There is a police report, but there is not yet a criminal court case number. Does that make sense?
Yes. So there's I just want to clear it up. So there's a police report. Someone has filed an actual police report accusing Larry Reid of these things.
Correct.
However, as far as we know right now in this moment, as far as we know, there is no case number, meaning Larry Reid has not been formally charged.
Correct. He has not been charged.
Okay, so because if he had been charged, there would be an actual case number.
Yes, and he would have been arrested.
And he would have been okay. And we know Larry Reid ain't been arrested because Lord, that'd have been everywhere. That'd have been all over the place if he'd been arrested.
They take
everybody would. Yeah, that if Larry Reid had been arrested for these charges, there would be. Right. I mean, everybody would know that. Okay, all right. So
correct.
Okay. So just to recap, and then we're gonna move forward. But I want to recap in case people came in late. Larry Reid sued YouTuber Darryl Moore. They never got past the mediation stage, which means they never litigated whether these accusations were false or true or false. However, the agreement was, if you keep your name out of my mouth, I'll keep my name out of your mouth. And Darryl Moore's attorney stated in court, I no longer want to represent this dude because we're gonna use street talk because he's crazy.
Right.
And I can't work with him.
And
in your professional opinion, this is not a legal opinion. This is just your just based on what you know about the law, that makes you lean towards Larry Reid's version of events, because Darryl Moore's attorney is like, this dude got a lot. He crazy. I can't work with him.
Usually that happens when somebody wants you to do something that you as a lawyer feel is dishonest. Whether it's they want you to argue something that isn't true, or they're telling you lies. You say, I can't do this anymore. I need to be dismissed from this case. Because it was not a dismissal for failure to pay. Let's be clear on that. And the other thing about the settlement agreement, interestingly, is neither party got a dime. And so they were willing to, so Larry was willing to settle in exchange for him just shutting up, even though he wasn't going to give Larry a dime. And that's strange to me. Those type of allegations, you're going to have to come up off some money.
Okay.
Larry
Reid... No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I said, I don't care if you have it or not. You're going to have to come up off something. You're going to have to get you a payday loan or something, but you're not about to.
Not a payday loan?
You have to call me a little molester, and I didn't do nothing.
All right.
Go ahead.
Now, first of all, I want so let me ask this question, and then I'm gonna say this. The link to call in, if you want to come up here and talk to Simone or ask Simone a question, the link is in the chat. I only ask two things. One, you do not have to show your face on screen, but I do have to verify that you are a real person before I bring you up on screen. Okay. So you can just show me your face backstage, and then I can bring you up and you can ask the question that you need to ask, and there's no problem. So that link is there. If you have a question or anything, feel free. You can I told y'all I wasn't sure we were going to have time for call-ins, but Simone said she got time today, okay? She said she got time today.
Yes. For you, lovely.
Right. So this is what I want to ask you. Now, I listened to Larry Reid's video, and I understand that he might be limited in what he can say, for legal purposes. But what he said was that through the process of discovery, they were able to disprove some of the facts. So is he talking about if they never got to an actual, if they only got through mediation, would discovery have taken place in that process?
Very minimal, very, very minimal discovery. Here's why. The first step in discovery takes months. And I feel like I don't remember what month the suit was filed, but it was settled by, it was settled by December when they went to mediation, which was like within 90 days. And what happens with discovery is the first thing that you serve it, the other person has 30 days to respond. And most of the time, the first time they respond, they don't tell you nothing. They do all these objections. Then you got to go back and you have to go back and forth. So it usually takes like 6 months before you really get any information. That's to say it was disproven. If that were so true, he would have filed a motion for summary judgment. So I'm not believing that. A motion for summary judgment is a motion that says, hey, Your Honor, I have these documents right here that show I'm right and I win. No matter what the other side says, here are my documents to show that I win. So dismiss this case. And he never filed that. Whether you mediate or not, you get that on file. You even get it on file sometimes and then go to mediation, and it gives you more incentive at mediation to get money and other things because you're able to say in mediation, hey, I'm going to win this motion that I filed because of these documents. The other reason I don't believe that is if that was so true, Larry Reid would have showed us those documents. He would have showed it to us, as in his viewers, when he was going through all that, right when he got it. Why we never seen these documents? And don't say it's a settlement agreement because that came months and months later.
Okay.
What do you guys think? Yeah.
No, listen. You are our legal expert. This is how I feel about it, and I understand that there's a difference between civil and legal. I get that 100%. I find it interesting. This is just my novice opinion. I find it interesting that that there are police reports, but no charges were ever filed, and these accusations are old. It's not like the person just went to the police last week. So it makes me wonder what investigation was done by the detectives that the DA would say, yeah, we're not touching this. Or at least right now, we're not touching this.
It means that in their investigation, when the cops went and talked to the people referenced in the police report, because let me roll it back. The police report is generally a person's view. Anybody can walk into the police station and say, I need to fill out a report, I was robbed, right? You write out what they took from you. That's just your version of what happened. The second step is the police then go contact people to corroborate, to see if they're going to corroborate your version of what happened. And because this is so old, that case was 2021, which then means the other charges and stuff were probably a while before that. And this is an adult. Remember, this isn't a kid, this is an adult. So with adult charges, they're able to move a lot faster. Because it's not like with kids where they have to go see a therapist and the therapist has to be in the room with the investigator and all of these different levels. So to be clear, there was an investigation, and I think you're right. With the amount of time, it's unlikely that charges will ever be filed against him. So that may also be what Larry Reid is referring to when he says it was proven this was not true, or what have you, or in discovery documents came out. What may have happened is he may have received communication from the DA's office that said, we're not pursuing charges. That very well could happen.
Okay. Because some of the stuff that so maybe when he was doing his live kind of rebutting, maybe he was sort of conflating all of this into one defense instead of making a difference between this what happened legally, this what happened civilly, this happened here. Maybe he was just kind of just kind of conflating it all together. I got you. Okay. Because one of the things he said was that because he had more than one accuser, but that one of the accusers was accusing him of doing something, because I haven't listened to the tapes. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't listened to the tapes, but one of the accusers was accusing him of doing something in a house that at the time he said it wasn't even built yet. And then there was another situation at a house that he said was a rental property. And one of the things that Bishop Whitehead is saying is, you're saying that the house wasn't built, but we have tax records, we have a deed. But he's saying that one of the properties is a rental property, so his name will be on the deed. But also, when you're building a home, and I know maybe it'll vary from state to state, and I know you're not a real estate attorney, but when you buy the property and you're building a home, your name is on the deed, even if the house isn't finished being built. There's a deed.
Baby, I own a lot in Cedar Hill, just a lot in this gated community. I have an address, even though there's no house on my lot. So you have an address once it's plotted. So yeah, so that's what
again, I'm not saying Larry Reid is lying or telling the truth. I don't know him from a hole in the wall. I don't know Bishop Whitehead from a hole in the wall. But what I'm saying is, you're saying, well, we found the deed, and the deed, you having a deed you can have a lot and have the deed, especially if you are literally in the process of building. I ain't never been blessed enough to build a home, but I have friends who have built homes, and there's a deed, because when you close on that property, you're closing, and there's a deed there. There's, like you said, you have an address. You have an address before the house is built and everything.
But the tax rolls will tell you if there's a property on it, if there's a building structure on there, because the tax rolls break your taxes up into the land value, and then if there's a building, the building value. So what he might be saying is,
maybe he pulled it, because again, I'm just looking at all this. So I know he posted some stuff on his Instagram, like the deed and stuff like that, but maybe he did pull the tax records, or the person that sent him this information, because I don't think he did the information. I think somebody sent it to him. Maybe the person who sent it to him pulled the tax records, and they were able to say that, that it was something there versus not. Okay. Now, I'm here to defend Larry Reid. I'm not here to condemn. Yeah, we're just trying to go through the information that was provided and break it down so that it makes sense. Okay. Did anything else stand out to you?
Yeah, so I just want to make sure that people understand that there is the criminal process, there's the civil, and that the civil process was just about defamation, and that the criminal process is the one where it seems unlikely that at this point he would get charged, because again, we're dealing with an adult. It's been a number of years. They've had more than enough time to investigate those accusations. It's not like a murder, right? With murder, you could get charged forever later because of the fact that you need more evidence, or this, that, and the third. With the assault of an adult, those investigations are usually, wrapped up one way or another within a year. If that adult is fully functioning and can communicate, they're either going to say this person's believable or it's not. But no, they don't ever in writing to the general public say, we've closed this investigation and we don't think Larry did it. They're not going to put that in writing. They may say that to the media, but it won't be like under a case file number or anything like that, because a case wasn't filed. But they may have said something like that to Larry Reid's attorney if he had that, and then that may be something where Larry Reid is saying, see, I didn't do it. But again, I just want to be clear, there is no judge, there's no court that has said he was innocent or that has charged him. But what I do want to talk about is defamation real quick, because so many people are like,
that's actually what I was going to roll into. I was getting ready to roll into that. Okay, so go ahead, because I was getting ready to bring in.
I'll let you set it up.
Okay, so what is the burden that Larry Reid's attorneys have to show that there's a connection between Darryl Moore and Bishop Whitehead? Like because if Darryl Moore just says, I didn't give it to him, he must have found them, or he must have downloaded them already. Like, I didn't get, what is the burden that the attorneys have to prove that there's a connection?
I believe it's a preponderance of the evidence. So it's civil court. So it's 51%, literally. You need a jury to think it's more likely he did than no. That's it. And your jury only I believe, well, in Texas, when it's a civil case, only 10 of the 12 gotta agree.
So this is in Ohio. This case is in Ohio.
Okay, this is Ohio. So I don't, in most states. Oh, let me close my eyes real quick. Oh, sorry. Yeah, in most states, only 10 of the 12 need to agree. Now, also, but check this out with the defamation.
Go into the defamation.
We've been focused on, did Darryl Moore give it to him? I actually think it wasn't Darryl that gave it. I think it was Tasha K. Miss K did that. She did that.
Now, why do you think that? Allegedly, now, Simone, don't be saying she did it. Allegedly.
Right.
What makes you think Tasha K did it?
Okay, I'm gonna say this. It is my personal opinion, because you cannot get sued for defamation for your personal opinion. The reason I think Tasha did it is because, remember, Tasha was already talking or alluding to the fact that he had the 3-letter disease. Okay, she'd already been talking about that. And Tasha, she goes for the jugular when she feels you have publicly wronged her, or when you're going for her spot. We see, for example, Charlemagne, and how she, has covered his business and his stories, and how she's done Cardi B, etc. But also, she was so close with Larry Reid. I don't believe she didn't know about this until Whitehead told her. Tasha K knows everybody's business. She knows everybody's business. And the way
Larry Reid already said. No, I'm saying Larry Reid already said that Tasha K knew. Larry Reid said that him and Tasha K were friends when he was going through all of this, and that she was privy to all of this information. He said that.
I said that on his live. I didn't know that. Tasha K knew. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I didn't see that. She did that. And so what he needs to do, if he came to me and he were my client, I said, we're going to get Tasha. You're going to be in line right behind Cardi B. You got to sue Tasha, and you got to sue Bishop. And here's why both of them, I believe, you have a strong defamation case against both. Okay. Here, the type of defamation we're talking about is called defamation per se. With defamation per se, it means what you said about me is so bad that just by you saying it, I have been injured, by you accusing me of that. And that applies to anything criminal. So especially being a molester. With defamation per se, also, you cannot simply use the excuse of, I'm not saying it, this is alleged, someone else is saying it. Because you have a responsibility to confirm the information before you publish it. See, a lot of people forget that. You have an obligation, you have to make a reasonable inquiry into whether or not it's correct. And here, I believe Tasha K and Moorhead, let's start with Whitehead. The reason I feel like Whitehead thinks this, look, the worst clients are them jailbird clients that done did some time and come out thinking they know the law better than anybody else, okay? They the worst ones. And that's why
the jailhouse attorneys, honey, the
jailhouse lawyer. So if you watch his lives, he sits there and he says, I'm not saying this. Allegedly, I'm not saying this. Someone else is saying this. But when it's defamation per se, when it's an allegation so nasty and dirty as molestation, by you repeating it and acknowledging you're repeating it without even knowing it's true, means you too can be liable. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Because
so we have a question in the chat.
Yes,
we have a question in the chat. It says, Queuing, and if I said your name wrong, I apologize. Queuing is asking, is it still considered molestation when it's an adult? I'm not sure if that was explained clearly. Please break that down for us. Okay.
It's not.
That's a good question.
It can be SA. It could be SA if it was unwelcomed in some capacity. But I think molestation more so is the term used for children. So that's a good point. We shouldn't call it that. It's just an easier word to use on social media because, they bleep out or they block certain types of content. But yes, to be clear, it would basically be the unwanted advances with another grown man. But I also believe that would be another large reason why it would be difficult to get charges pressed against you, because this is a grown man. Okay, you touched his booty, you touched his balls. All right, well, after he said, don't touch my balls no more, and you don't touch his balls anymore, the cops probably aren't going to get involved. So that's a
let me ask you this, though.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. So I think, and don't quote me on this because again, I told y'all I did not listen to the tapes because I'm not sitting through that. But I
No,
think that some of these people are accusing Larry Reid when they were underage.
Got you. If they were underage, it goes by their age at the time it happened. And if they were underage, then it would be of a child. Molestation of a child. Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Because I think so, but I'm not 100% certain. But I do think some of them are saying that this happened prior to them being 18.
Also, and if it happened to a child, the statute of limitations in some states there is no statute of limitations, meaning they could come. That child could wait till they're 50 and say somebody did this to me, and it could still be.
I'm stand corrected. Somebody in the chat said no. The guy said that he was 19. Okay, I stand corrected.
Got it.
Okay, because like I said, I didn't listen to the tapes, y'all. I'm telling y'all, I didn't listen to the tapes. So
I love the crew.
Okay, somebody else. Okay, somebody else in the chat said no. He said he was an adult. Okay, so he was an adult. He was over 18. Okay, gotcha. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for y'all know how I love when y'all make sure I'm on point because I ain't watched the tapes. I'm just letting you know.
But I want to. And I want to make really clear with defamation, y'all. People think they could just go around, say whatever they want to say, add the word allegedly, and not be in trouble. Hell no, that's not how that works. When you know good and well something is, or if you know it's more likely than not that what you're talking about isn't true, or that this person was a lie, or that for example, if he has a good indication that no charges were pressed because the cops decided this didn't happen, you're still in trouble. You can use take all the allegedly you want. The issue is, and the way he's stringing this about, every time is an additional defamation. Because again, you have a reasonable, you have an obligation to make a reasonable inquiry into whether or not what they're alleging and what they're talking about is true, especially when it comes to something as bad as this. And y'all tell me, do you think it's reasonable the way that he's going about it and, doing these lies every day and sharing, more and more of these accusations, just trying to reiterate on his side, it's as though he's acting as though by piecemeal giving us this information, he's got so much information that it must be true.
Right. Because that's what I always stress over here. Allegedly is not a 100% defense. You have to be very clear that this isn't your opinion and you're not stating that this is a fact. And this is where I think a lot of people get in trouble. The other night, Tasha K said again, when she was talking to Whitehead, she said, I know that these boys or these young men that Larry Reid keeps around him, he calls them his mentees or the people that work for him. But I know this is his boyfriend. It's not allegedly, it's a fact. And my thing is, unless you got videotape of them in bed and them calling each other boyfriend, I don't know how you can say that it's a fact that this person that he says is his mentee is like. So she did it again. She was like, I know for a fact. It's not no allegedly, it's a fact.
Well, I think Tasha K is really trying it with respect to, now, I'm pretty sure he's gay sometimes. I don't have any doubt about that. But as it relates to the other allegations, the abuse, the criminal charges, her sharing this information, knowing good and well that, or with the understanding that he has already been found that this isn't true, her still sharing it can be considered defamation because she did it with the intention that someone else would be at the forefront of it. So they colluded together. It's going to be hard for somebody to convince me that Tasha K did not give that man that stuff, because the way Tasha K, first of all, she's a terrible actress. We all know that. The way she sat there on his live and was like, what? Really? Girl, that's why your behind probably ran to Africa. That and you don't have no money.
Well, we're gonna get to Tasha K in a minute because you have updated us on that. But let me say this. So let me say this. 2 questions. One from the chat. Tracy says Bishop Scammer said he couldn't find Larry to hit him with the lawsuit. Can he just serve Larry's attorney?
Fantastic question. And the answer is no. You can only serve someone's attorney if they give the consent to allow their lawyer to accept service. And generally they won't do that. Yeah,
because Bishop Whitehead, because he's suing Larry Reid for $20 million for defamation, which I find interesting that you sitting on your Instagram every night playing these videos and these audio tapes, but you suing him for defamation. But he said that Larry is quote unquote hiding and running from the process server.
So okay, I wanted to address that too. I'm glad you brought that up. So I believe if Bishop Crackhead continues doing this, that's how he's gonna end up back in jail. Here's why. He's got the IRS. He's gonna have the IRS on his back. He may not fear Larry Reid, and I don't blame him. Okay, don't fear, but you need to fear the IRS. They don't care because here's why. His lifestyle. Okay, when you have a church, you have to document and take your deductions and do all that to a T. We now know he's got 6 people in that church. So they're really going to want to know, how do his books equate with his lifestyle? And is he paying the proper amount of taxes? Ain't no way.
Well, he said that's in his lawsuit that he said he lost church members as a result of what Larry Reid said about him. And I was like, sir, you got 20.
Yeah, he went from 10 to 6. But here's the other part of defamation. You do, unless it's defamation per se, you have to prove your damages. So what he will have to, so if Larry Reid was my client, I said, we about to push this nigga to the limit. Come on, Larry, let's go. And in discovery, I'm gonna push for all his financial records. Why?
Yeah,
because I'm walking that nigga into jail.
Look, that's exactly what I
straight
said.
To a federal cell.
That's exactly what I said when he first. He first put this said, when I first read about this lawsuit, I said, you've exposed your financial records, because he claims that he doesn't make his money off the church, that he makes his money through his real estate, and that's fine. But for you to say you lost money and you lost deals, you still have to turn over all of those records, whether it's your real estate, whether it's your church, everything. And I just don't know if he want to expose that information to people.
He doesn't. He does. One, if he has that money, I have difficulty believing that it is through legitimate means. I have difficulty believing it. What was the word he used the other day? He was trying to say like somebody can't communicate well. He was like, he's not even communicable. Communicable is for diseases.
He said, and he also says that he has a doctrine. He has a doctrine in real estate, girl.
From the internet, that doesn't count.
Well, but first of all, you don't get a doctrine, you get a doctorate. Oh, and if you can't even pronounce it correctly, how do you have one? I'm just saying.
Doesn't. Yeah. You can buy anything on the internet.
He did. I mean, he got one. He posted it on, the little ceremony or whatever. But like I know that ain't. Listen, I got coworkers that bought one too. That ain't no thing.
I have a feeling that Whitehead's lawsuit will probably fizzle out around the time he'll be forced to produce his financial documents. Just something will happen and it'll just go away, settle, mediate, whatever. We just stop hearing about it. So I can't see, but yeah, I see there's another comment or question.
Yeah. Queuing asks, if Larry Reid was reporting on information that Bishop himself had posted, can that be considered defamation? Because if so, how can these bloggers protect themselves?
Great question. No. You can repost and comment on something someone else posted. Also, you can say, I think this was a this was a setup. You can say, I think the bishop did this because he wanted to get some money. As long as you're making it clear it's your opinion, and that it is not based on fact, you're not perpetuating it as though this is the truth. You say, I just think based on his history, what I know about him, what I've Googled, I think he did it. You're entitled to that. Otherwise, everybody in the shade room comments would be going to jail. I mean, we'll be, getting sued for defamation.
Right.
Just, okay. Yeah, as long as it's your opinion. Go ahead.
Right. No. And listen, I do not want to feel like we are beating up on the bishop, but I do have a problem with how he has conducted himself. That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. And I am not saying that Larry Reid is right or that I agree, because I don't agree with a lot of what Larry Reid says it does. Let's be clear. Well, here's the thing. Overcomer, you said Larry said, I know he's a scammer. We all know that he's a scammer because he's been convicted of fraud. He is a convicted.
Yes.
He is a convicted felon. So as long as you are a convicted felon, then I can say he was convicted
Correct.
for fraud. That is what he went to jail for. He went to jail for identity theft and some other stuff. So yes, Larry Reid can say, I know he's a scammer because the New York court system said he's a scammer. Right?
Yeah,
am I right about that? Okay.
Correct.
Now, if he had never been convicted and Larry Reid said, I know he's a scammer, then now you put yourself in some jeopardy. But the fact that if I go to jail for theft, and that was 50 years ago, and I never stole another thing in my life, and somebody says, well, I know you a thief. I'm a thief.
That's true.
I went to jail for it. Correct. I'm a thief. This is a good question. Can a felon hold a real estate license? That's a good question.
Sorry. So the answer is they can. As long as the state will give them the license, they can. And generally, the state does it based on how long has it been since the offense, how do they have evidence that they've changed, etc. So yes, they can. It's a state by state decision.
Okay, so we would have to do some research on what the state of now. What I read, and I don't know this to be a fact, so I don't. What I read was that he in the state of New York he can't, but it's something else. It's another word that he is. He's not a licensed real estate agent, but he's something else, like broker or something. Not a broker, because the broker is above a real estate agent. It's something else in the realm. Like he can hold. I have to go back and look at where I read it. Okay, so Nikki said because of his conviction, he can't in New York. So in New York, he must not be. But he has something else. He does referral. Like he refers people, and then he gets
wholesaler.
Commission. Okay, is that what it is? A wholesaler? Okay.
Yeah. I hate them a lot of the time. Those are the ones when white people want to steal your granny's property. They send niggas like him to knock on her door and say, "The Jesus sent me. I can help you with your bills if you sell your house to me for $100,000, even though it's in a gentrified neighborhood and it's really worth $4 million." But they sell it thinking they're selling it to a black man, and really they're selling it to rich white companies. That's what the wholesaler does. The wholesaler gets the black people to sign and then flips the contract to the white people, and they get a commission without ever having to buy the real estate. They can get $100,000, $60,000. It just depends on the more money they get is based on the more they skim the old black people out of their gentrified property.
Girl. So let me so just to roll it back, just to kind of bring this to a conclusion. It based on the information you have, because we don't know everything, but based on what you've been able to read and you've been gathering, if you are Larry Reid's attorney, what is your recommendation that he does moving forward? I'm gonna let you finish getting your lips done. I'll finish getting your lips. This was on Chicago PD. They had that was a story on Chicago PD, how they had people going out and buying up the property in the neighborhood. Okay.
See? People be like, that's crazy. But I'm trying to tell you, my life is crazy. I know what
happens. I do know what happens because my parents, both of my parents, thank God, are still alive. They're elderly, they're retired, and they have a home in DC. And DC property is ridiculous. Their house.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents ain't rich. Let me be clear, but they were blessed enough to sit on a piece of property in DC. They bought it in the 60s, and it's worth. They've kept it up. They've done improvements. And based on DC's market, it's worth a lot of money. And they get a lot of predatory calls, emails, people knocking on their door. They get a lot of it.
I get 7 a day. I get on average during the week.
Listen,
it's crazy.
The person who sold me my house called me last week and said, "Hey, I'm putting a house on the market right around the corner from you." Because me and him have kept in touch. He's a good guy. He said, he was asking me some questions, and I said, "Well, just out of curiosity, what are you listing the house at?" And it's literally, I could see it from my house, right? I could see the house from my house. He told me the amount. I said, "What the?" And he said, "You want to talk?" I said, "No, I want to talk, but woo." It's good to know.
Wow. Okay. Great. So what I would say if Larry was my client, I'd say, "Larry, you're going to need to go get a loan to pay me my legal fees." Ooh, hold on, y'all. Sorry, I got to check my makeup. I like her. Oh, she's pretty. Oh, yes. Thank you. Very good. Very good. Y'all, and we're about to wrap up. But I would say, Larry, I need you to go ahead. I'm gonna send you to this company, this finance company. They're gonna get you a loan to, cover my retainer and my fees, because we got to be in this for the long haul. Because we have to shut this mofo up once and for all. Because the last time you let them off the hook, the other person off the hook way too easy, way too fast. That's why you're going through this again. But what we need to do is you need to sue Tasha and Bishop, and gone ahead and throw in Darryl Moore just in case, right? We can always have him dismissed later if he really didn't do anything. But first and foremost, I'm going to say, but you better look me in my eye and tell me what's true and what's not true. Because you're going to embarrass yourself, Larry, if some of what they're saying is true. Because we need to figure out what is true. So, for example, if you was out here doing it to these men and stuff, then we're not going to sue him for defamation of those terms, because they happen. We're only going to sue for the things they said that actually are untrue, and stick with that. That's what I would recommend.
Got you. So here's a good question. Here's a good question, and then we're going to let you give us the update on Tasha K. And if you need to step away and handle your business, go ahead and step away. But here's a question. It says, so if Whitehead is discussing what's in public records, how can that be defamation? That stuff in those recordings is listed in the Ohio court case. So let me answer, and you tell me if I'm right. But the recordings themselves, those actual recordings, because if you listen to the recordings, you can hear Darryl Moore in the recording. So those are his recordings. Those recordings were supposed to be X'd, right? Is that?
Yes, but only between them two. That was just a personal deal those two made. Okay. So the issue is this. Because we don't know if they're true or not, he's running the risk of walking into the same suit. So you can, because they're public information, you can share it, but it don't mean you're not going to get in trouble, okay? Because the way in which he is sharing it, we all know it's for a specific purpose, to defame his character, to make people think that these allegations are true. And he's doing it in such a way where, even though he's throwing in an allegedly here or there, it's very clear that his intention is to get others to believe it. So to clarify, it's not the issue of sharing the public information. It's not just that, but it's when you share it without making an investigation as to whether or not they are true, and you proceed with basically trying to get people to believe they are. So
what he keeps saying is, I don't know if it's true, but we just got questions. I don't know if it's true, but Larry, we got questions. You need to clear this up. I don't know if it's true. So is that covering him by saying that? Does he cover himself?
No. Okay. Actually, I would argue that shows he's guilty, because remember, you have an obligation to investigate the truth when it's allegations that are these bad. And you have to do a reasonable inquiry. What he's saying is, I haven't even looked into their truthfulness. I'm going to leave it to the internet. You can't do that. The more severe the allegation, the more heightened your responsibility is to determine whether or not they're true. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
The issue is he did not satisfy the requirement. If you want the defense of, but this is public information,
I see you backstage,
and I didn't say it, then the issue is you still have a reasonable responsibility to reasonably make an inquiry into whether or not the stuff is true before you repeat it, before you share it, not after.
Okay.
So not at the same damn time.
Not the same day. Okay. Anita's backstage. Do you want to keep your camera on, Anita? I see you, babe. You want to come on up? You want to keep your camera on? Okay, there she go. All right, I'm gonna bring you up, Anita. Anita's coming up to ask a question. Hey, Anita, how you doing?
Hey, Anita.
Blessings. I just happened upon this channel because I've been up all night watching this foolery on the television, on the YouTube. And what came up last night, I'm not going to tell you my title, but I'm a strong believer in God, and I have been for 32 years. But my point with Lamar Whitehead is this. He said around, I think it was 1 or 2 this morning, that the reason why Larry Reid and Demario Jives have not been served is because he tried to serve Larry Reid at his Atlanta house and he keeps jumping from home to home. He said Larry Reid has 4 homes. So he put out a $1,000 reward to anyone who can help him find where Larry Reid's located. Well,
he's doing too much.
I was gonna say, well, aren't there PIs and people who can go to each one of the homes?
Yes, ma'am, there are. You don't even have to do that. So you only have to make a good faith attempt to locate them where at their domicile. And the law knows that people do this, that people attempt to skip getting served. So after you've tried 3 or 4 times, what you do is you file a motion with the court, and it's a motion for alternative service. So what that means is you then say, Your Honor, I know this is his house. We believe that he's trying to skip getting served. So we want permission from the court to just take the petition to his front door. And then you submit like a copy of, like, if he owns it, the tax rolls to say this is where he lives, or a copy of the driver's license to say this is the address. And the judge says, all right, here you go. Then you have a service processor literally tape it to his front door. He's served. Let's go. And he doesn't even get to say, I didn't know it was there or whatever. Too bad. Once the judge says you can do that, you can do that. So he's doing too much.
Now, what about Demario Jives? Could he do the same thing with him? He only has 1 resident.
Same thing. It don't matter who it is. Once you've tried 3 to 4 times to serve them unsuccessfully, you just ask the judge, can I leave it on their front door? That's it. Or you can ask the judge if you can mail it certified mail. The judge will usually do let you do either of them, or say, I want you to do it both ways. Put it on their front door and send it certified mail with tracking. Boom. Who the hell is this boy's lawyer? That's what I want to know. I want to know.
So you know what? So here's what's interesting. What's interesting about the guy that's representing, the lawyer that's representing
I'm an Apple Pay.
The guy that's representing Whitehead, what's interesting is that he does YouTube videos, and he has done multiple YouTube videos calling Whitehead a clown and talking about Whitehead.
Is it the lead attorney?
No, it's not the lead attorney. I had to look up somebody.
I love him, and I don't think he would do that.
What drop his name before? Tina, I see you. I'm gonna bring you up in a second. I see you, Tina. But yeah, I said now that's very interesting that this guy, there are videos of this guy talking trash about Whitehead, and now he's his lawyer.
So my last question, then I'll jump off with, if Whitehead has 3 cases pending against him, would a court even allow him to show up to sue someone else if he has pending cases?
Yeah, that's irrelevant. Because if you think of Donald Trump's, think of Donald Trump's always getting sued. But yeah, it's you have a constitutional right to bring suits as long as they're not frivolous suits. You absolutely have a right to bring a suit. They're not going to prevent you just because people are suing you.
Okay, well, I thank you so much, and I'm a new subscriber. I just subscribed, and I thank you for the good commentary and not all the foolishness and silliness that are on some channels. God bless you both.
Thank you so much. Welcome to the channel. Tina, hey Tina, how you doing?
Hi, I've been watching this, and it seemed like to me it has to be more than Larry Reid talking about his alleged robbery, which I think was a scam. If you look at how he has so much venom against Larry, this is deeper than what's going on. I feel like they have had, you know what? I feel like this is what happened. I feel like everybody's connected. I feel like he has venom against Archbishop Jordan, because he always said that Larry is his mentor. I feel like Bishop Whitehead knew Archbishop Bernard Jordan, because actually there was a video that Larry did who brought Archbishop and his wife on. And Archbishop let it be known that Bishop Whitehead father-in-law is his security person. So he knows the wife. And I think that's where it comes out. I feel like Archbishop probably told the wife not to marry this man because he saw what his character. She went back and told him, and they have not resolved that feelings. And then when he chose Larry over him to be his mentor, that made it even have worse feelings. And then Larry said that Bishop Whitehead tried to contact him numerous times to get on his platform.
He did say that.
And he told him no because he didn't like his character. So all this is against him. And then when Larry started he also said he thought the robbery was not legit. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. I think that's what it's. I think he also has father figure issues. I think he really looked at Bernard Jordan as a father figure. So when he got dismissed by his natural father, not recognized what I understand, then Archbishop don't recognize him. So that's two father figures that is, kind of dismiss him. So I think it's all about his feelings. And I think it has to be more because what he said, it's too much. You don't go like this off a man. Like this is ridiculous. And then he's letting these people like Darryl Moore push him up. He don't know what's went on that court case. He should have. And then Tasha got in her feeling because she mad at Larry. Larry brought that out too because she's trying to get something produced by Larry, and Larry lawyer told him not to fool up with Tasha because of Cardi B case, and he told her no, and that's when they fell out. So I think a lot of people
some areas that are very right.
This is what it is. It has to be more. He's just going too much off of somebody talking about it. If you know it's not true, then go on. But I feel like it's true because when you start looking at that video, his armor bearer didn't move an inch at that seat. If you so-called being robbed and he's your armor bearer, he trying to protect you. You're the only one laying on the floor. Nobody else was laying on the floor but him. Then nobody looked all upset. And to me, that's why I say it's a scam. I don't think it was no robbery. That's my opinion. But
I also find it very interesting. I think part of the reason why Whitehead is also pulling this out, drawing this out so much is because he wants to change the narrative from what's the status of finding these so-called robbers. He doesn't want to talk about that case anymore. So he's shifting the narrative. But also I think it's very important to recognize, like, once he got out of prison, he has really wanted to legitimize himself. And I applaud that with all ex-offenders. That's exactly what we want you to do, right? To continue to contribute positively to society in a lawful way. And I think that he has felt very dismissed and not included by the other major pastors in his community. And I think particularly the pastors that also have a large social media presence and things. And so I think over the years, he had been trying to reach out to Larry Reid and perhaps others so that he could feel more included. And basically he needs a cosign to legitimize himself in the area as a legitimate pastor. And I think he felt that, okay, well, if I can, get that from Larry, then that's going to help me be able to do all the other business endeavors and things that I want to do as a legitimate person. And then now that he's been rejected consistently, I think he has taken that personally. And I agree with you that the last straw was Larry laughing and, Larry doing Larry's thing about the robbery. But again, I'm going to have to read the petition. I have not, but I need to read that and then look at what Larry was saying again to make a determination on that.
And one other thing I go before I go, I never seen a pastor that got them name brand so much clothes he wear. I wear Fendi, I wear Gucci. To me, he just so flashy.
Neither has the IRS.
Yes, and that's why I feel like it's not about him serving the people, about the community. It's about how he look for other people, and that's not. I've been around. If you flash or you got money like that, you don't have to tell nobody. People see it. When you
Also,
start
when you're an
advertising,
ex-offender, what's the fastest way for you to legitimize yourself? Becoming a pastor, getting close with God.
well,
When
you
you
right
do
about
that,
that. You right
that's
about
the
that.
fastest way.
Yeah. When you got a felon on your record, it's hard to try to find a job. But the easiest job is to be a so-called preacher and a pastor and get money like that. And unfortunately, we don't hold no standards in the church. We believe like once you do wrong and God save you, then you qualify to be a pastor. Because Archbishop asked him, and this is another why he got mad at Archbishop. Archbishop asked him, who made you a bishop? Nobody know who made him a bishop. Nobody know who made him a bishop.
Or doctor.
You right about that.
To be fair, I just want to be fair. He did start pastoring, I think, in church, or maybe so he didn't just wait till he got out. But I agree with what y'all are saying, though. I do agree with what y'all saying about, legitimizing. We see a lot of ex offenders go into the church. And I'm not saying that they have ill intent. That's not what I'm saying either.
No.
Well, thank you so much, Miss Tina, for coming up. I appreciate you. I appreciate what you contributed to the conversation.
I'll be a new subscriber because, like I said, I appreciate what y'all saying. And like it ain't like, and I think if Bishop Whitehead could sit down and stop reacting, he's reacting more than what he should. Calm down. And he keeps saying, "I pray for me, like God will pray for whatever." I don't see God none of that. That's flesh. That's not God. I'm sorry. That's flesh, and that is not God or what he doing, because he's supposed to be building up the kingdom and let God show God and him as being a bishop and a pastor. If I was trying to go to his church, the way he's acting on this social media, I would step foot in his church, because you reacting, you're a hothead, and then you grab the woman. I say, so if I have a legitimate question to ask you in a Bible study about so-called, and I might not agree with you, will you choke me out too? So you don't have control, you have impulse control, in my opinion. And the way he talked to his wife before that, told her to sit down because he was preaching his message. If you go back and look at the video, that was before anything else happened. I just have so many red flags for him as being not only a pastor, but as a man. Because this is, if you get this upset off of somebody talking about you, how do you control your household? I'm
You're
serious.
Right. Thank you so much.
You don't have no impulse control.
Yeah. So I want to make sure we have a chance to get to the Cardi B Tasha case, so we can just summarize.
Thank you so much, Miss Tina. She gone. All right.
Thank
you,
Miss Tina.
Y'all cutting up in the chat. I'm moving on. So we do have an update for the Tasha K Cardi B. And remember, Simone will be back, honey. Simone will be back.
I will.
But go ahead. Give us the update.
Okay. So, and I'm gonna try to say this short and brief. So if you have a question, feel free to drop it in the chat. So I just want to clarify. So a lot of the blogs are saying, Cardi B started the process and did the filings to start the garnishment of Tasha K's money. I want to be clear. No, to be clear, she's already frozen her bank account. They froze, meaning Tasha K's Chase account, because that's the only one that Cardi B has referenced and listed so far. Basically, it's probably the only one she has located so far. It's frozen. She can't pay nary bill. She can't pay no staff from that account. She can't buy a tampon. Nada. And it's going to stay that way until either the appeal is over and there's a result, or the judge says the money can be released. So I wanted to be clear on that. So Cardi B doesn't have the money, but when someone files what Cardi B filed, which is called the writ of execution, and they send the copy to a bank that holds an account with your name on it, then the bank automatically freezes it, because a writ of garnishment is a suit that's only between the plaintiff, Cardi B, and the bank. Tasha K is actually not a party to the suit, although she does get to jump in and say, hey, wait a minute, don't do that. But so I want to be clear, because that money is froze, that's why Tasha is like, oh, shoot. And I think Tasha saw it coming. I mean, we've been talking about this for a while because I knew this was coming. Tasha saw it coming, and it's convenient that she's over in Africa, right? Because I feel like she's probably over, this is my opinion. I think she very likely is probably over there to put money in African banks, because they cannot, American courts can only touch money in America. That's why people have accounts in Cayman Islands and elsewhere. So I want to make sure you guys know that. And Tasha K herself posed in front of the bank in Malawi.
She posted a picture.
Taunting.
She's trolling.
Straight taunting.
She's trolling.
But guess what? She's not going to win. Here, she's not going to win. So what Tasha K filed, she filed a motion to stay the garnishment. And what she is saying is, Your Honor, I want to stay the garnishment until the result of the appeal. Because what Tasha K has been trying to do is she's using the appeal to buy her time to move her money. That is my opinion. I believe doesn't that make sense? She's using it to buy time to move her money. However, now, because prior to the writ of execution, the document that Cardi B filed September 1, prior to that, she was able to get money out of her accounts, no issue. She should have been took the money out of the accounts. But now they're coming for the Chase account and any other accounts that she has in America. I'm sure they're about to come for those. Here's the important, very significant fact in the gamesmanship of Cardi's attorneys. So what they are arguing is they're saying, all right, Your Honor, we're okay if you stay the execution while the appeal is being pending. But the law requires Tasha to put up a bond. Baby, let me tell you something. A bond, it's just like when you get a risk. In this instance, how the bond would work is Tasha K would have to put up a $3.8 million bond, because I think that's, or whatever the total amount is of the amount that she currently owes. And then if she loses the appeal, the money automatically goes to Cardi. Automatically.
Oh.
Any questions? Baby.
No, and you did, and you also you sent us that information as well. Because listen, when Simone come through, honey, Simone brings the receipts with her. Okay, Simone brings the receipts, so I do have those screenshots of that case. So I just want to wrap that up. So to clear that up, they've frozen her account, sort of like what happened with Wendy Williams. They've frozen her account.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, that bond is the bomb, because yes, somebody is saying I'd rather do that. That bond is the bomb, because if they're able to get her to put up a bond, then that means Cardi will automatically get her money, right, when the appeal is denied, because Tasha will appeal it all the way up to the Supreme Court, of course, and lose still, and keep trying to,
that's what she said. She said she's going to appeal it.
Right.
Yeah, she said she's going to appeal it until she can't appeal it no more.
Yep, until she can't anymore, because that's the time she's buying to move her money to Africa. But at the end of the day, this motion is so important. To me, it's almost more important than the appeal, because the appeal is pretty clear she's going to win it. Cardi's going to win it. This motion is so critical, because if the judge says you got to put up a bond, she got to put up the bond. And then that means Cardi B, like I said, will get that 3.5. If she doesn't put up the bond, meaning she can't get somebody to give her that bond, and I think she will be able to find someone to do that. If she doesn't put the bond up, that means Cardi B gets everything in that Chase account that's currently frozen, everything in it. No, we don't know how much is in there.
Good question. Abby said, so if they order the bond, how much time does she have to do it, and what happens if she doesn't?
Great question. Usually you have like a week. It could be a week. It could be 72 hours. You go to a bonding company. So to be clear, she doesn't have to come up with the amount, but you go to a bonding company that says you have to give me your houses. You have to like put up collateral, right? Just like if you have a relative that needs to get bonded out of jail. And to answer, if she doesn't put the bond up, then that account that's frozen, Cardi B gets all that money. And Cardi B gets to keep going after her other assets. So Cardi B could send that same writ. She could send something like that to YouTube. Say, YouTube, instead of sliding that money to Tasha, you got to give it to me. Come on, run me my money. Give me Tasha's money. Tasha's money.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how long? Okay, so we know that the I think you might have just answered this, but my brain didn't process it. So let me ask it again. So we know that the money is frozen right now. We
Correct.
suspect, and Tasha K has been trolling us by posting pictures of her in front of the bank, and she even posted a video of her inside of an Uber saying, "I just deposited XYZ amount of money in the bank."
Right.
Blah blah blah. Like she's actually trolling the hell out of us as far as that's concerned. She said she's going to be in Africa for about 2 months, and she's going to be traveling to multiple countries. So
how do y'all think the judge feels about that? Like, oh, that's the type of clients I would have to fire you. I'm sorry, ma'am. You're making me look stupid. How am I going to go into the judge and be like, no, Your Honor, she shouldn't have to put up a bond. Absolutely not, Your Honor. And this chick is doing these things. Girl, bye. Get out of my face. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm saying it doesn't look good. I mean, it really doesn't look good. Even if you're, let's just say, under the best case scenario, she's not doing any of those things. She's just playing around. It's still not a good look. It's still not a good look.
It shows the court you are not taking this process seriously. And they don't like that disrespect, especially federal court. And let me tell you, federal court versus state court, baby, two different ball games. Federal court is to the letter by the law. Why? Because federal court judges are lifetime appointments. They don't have to worry about how the public thinks because they can never get fired. They just literally die off the bench. So those judges are by the letter of the law. You make any minor mistake. And with the judges, what they're arguing, what Cardi B's lawyers are arguing here is that Tasha did not follow the proper process. And even though she is appealing, she still should have to put up an appeal bond like everybody else.
Yep. So this is standard operating procedure. This isn't something out of the ordinary. Okay, I said that, and I just want to make sure that I'm right. You know, when I say
it's standard.
I'm right when I say it.
But to clarify, a lot of times, and Tasha K's lawyers have a good argument too, which is that this is a state court issue. Even though they're in federal court, they were like, if this same case was in state court, she wouldn't have to put up a bond because you automatically get the right to appeal without putting up a bond. But Cardi B's lawyers are saying, oh, but there's a nuance. And due to the facts here, she is supposed to put up a bond. So it can go either way, but I'm just saying, if Cardi B's lawyers win, they're absolutely taking what's in the bank account. And if that bank account doesn't have the $4 million that's due, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't. It's just one account. I mean, it's not one account necessarily, but it's just Chase Bank. Most people bank at multiple places, and I would be shocked if she hadn't moved her money around already. They'll get what's in there, and then they can still go after everything else right now, not waiting for an appeal. And that's going to be the issue. Mm-hmm.
So, last question, and we're going to kind of wrap it up because I know you got to get ready to head on out. And you kind of addressed this, but I'm going to let you reiterate it so that for people who, we have a lot of people in the room. Shout out to the 222 in the room. If you haven't hit the like button, please go ahead and do that. And go on and subscribe to the channel. It's free $99. We here. We having a good time. This is what we do over here. The question is that why she has her own website for her videos now instead of YouTube? Now, you already addressed that, but go ahead and reiterate that so people can make that connection.
Absolutely. So I've been saying for months now that the reason I believe that this is my hypothesis based on my experience, and I think it's wise of Tasha, is that she's been moving her content to her website so that she can have control of her money. And it will, if it in fact gets garnished, if YouTube, the garnishment goes to YouTube, she will at least be able to control the money she makes from her app, because she can't completely do it without YouTube. She's going to have to put some snippets, but at least if she has her own app and continues to grow it, she'll be able to have an income stream that only she can touch. And I wouldn't be surprised if she gets the money from her app to go to some offshore account. Now, she really might want to go back to Africa. That might be one. She really might want to go back to Africa, because with the way that she's hiding, the problem is in hiding money from Cardi B, guess who else she's hiding it from? IRS. And when you hide the money from the IRS, that's how people go to jail.
We know them alphabet people don't play, honey. People don't play.
They don't. So I've seen people say in the comments and say she needs to go ahead and just pay it. I've been saying that for months, but Tasha has so much ego. The truth is she needs to come up with a payment plan, because the longer she waits, the less Cardi B would be open to it. And especially now that she's trolling so bad and being so ugly about it. But in hiding money from Cardi B, she is also hiding it from the IRS. Why? Because Cardi B can subpoena IRS records and use those to say, well, she has these accounts, right? Because one of the things on your taxes you have to report is, let's say, for example, if you have stock accounts, bonds accounts, savings accounts, all that kind of stuff. And you have to report it, your income from those things, to Uncle Sam. So she better, have to figure something out, because she's going to go to jail trying to not pay Cardi, and it's not worth it. Of course not.
Okay. So we're going to wrap this up because we've been here for over an hour. Simone, thank you so much. Listen, Simone never hesitates when I hit her up, and she never hesitates to say, yeah, girl, let's talk about it. Let's pull it. Let's look at the case. Let's talk about it. So I appreciate you again for coming over here. We're going to start figuring out how we can stream this up on your channel. But Kamisha dropped your link in the chat earlier. Please make sure you are subscribed.
Thank you, honey.
Yes. And I'm about to head over to Kamisha Reviews as soon as I get off of here for our Ready to Love panel. But please, if you guys are not subscribed to Girl Is That Legal, please go ahead and subscribe. Her number is in the chat. If you have she's a licensed attorney. She don't just play. And if you have legal questions, please give her a call. Doesn't matter what state you live in, because if she cannot help you, she will be able to connect you to an attorney in your area that can help you. And if you are in the state of Texas, she definitely can help you in Texas. And she works with credit repair and expunging records
and injury cases. So if you're injured anywhere in America.
So y'all make sure y'all check her out. And if y'all, I'm gonna brag on her a little bit. She down there, getting ready to sit on a panel, with some reality show, greats down there. I don't want to say where you are, but you're at a panel.
Yes,
I mean, you say what you want to say, but that's why she's getting all pretty up.
Yes, I'm going to the Revolt Summit, the Revolt TV Summit here in Atlanta. And I'm excited about it, guys. So yeah, that's what I'm doing.
She's gonna be hanging out with Nene and Ray J and Jason Lee and a bunch of other people down there. So thank you for taking the time, because I know you got a tight schedule this weekend, but I do appreciate it. She didn't even have her laptop, y'all. She did all this from her cell phone because she was rushing and left her laptop at home. So all of this she did through her cell phone. Okay, so I appreciate it. Thank you for those who are here. Any new subscribers, new members, appreciate you guys. And I'm gonna we're going over to Kamisha Reviews literally right now to talk about Ready to Love. So if you watch Ready to Love, come on over. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.